not going to be easy, but crucially President Juncker and I have agreed that talks will now start to find a way through.
Prime Minister Theresa May left Brussels unsatisfied as the EU will not reopen a deal with the UK, but set to add wording to the agreement that will shape ties between Britain and the EU.
That is true, but break and entering, it doesn't only stop in the market here. It's nationwide, everywhere you are hearing break and enter.
Businesses and retailers at Serekunda Market are crying for help as the market is faced with burglary and armed robbers who break into shops. Afghanistan factions have called on the United States of America to withdraw its troops in the quest of finding a final solution to the crisis. Africa hosts 37% of the 19.6 million world refugee population, Vera Songwe, the executive secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, told the African Union. These are the headlines, more coming on your way on The World Today.
It's 8:30 p.m. in Istanbul, 9:35 a.m. in Washington State, 7:35 GMT here in the Gambia. You're watching The World Today Evening Bulletin. Here in the Gambia, you're watching The World Today Afternoon Bulletin. We now kick off with our first story. British Prime Minister Theresa May left Brussels today with no deal as the EU rejects the reopening of a deal with the UK, but accepts to add wording to the agreement that will shape its ties between Britain and the EU. May has 50 days before the Brexit date of March 29 to secure a deal which will need ratification from all EU members and the House of Commons. 52% of British voters opted for an exit of the EU in 2016 after more than 40 years of membership to the bloc. Let's take a look at this insert.
Well, I've had a good series of meetings today. We've had robust discussions, but they've been constructive. What I've set out is our clear position that we must secure legally binding changes to the withdrawal agreement to deal with the concerns that Parliament has over the backstop. And taking that changes to the backstop together with the other work that we're doing on workers' rights and other issues will deliver a stable majority in Parliament, and that's what I will continue to push for. Now, it's not going to be easy, but crucially President Juncker and I have agreed that talks will now start to find a way through this, to find a way to get this over the line and to deliver on the concerns that Parliament has, so we get a majority in Parliament. And I'm clear that I am going to deliver Brexit, I'm going to deliver it on time. That's what I'm going to do for the British public. I'll be negotiating hard in the coming days to do just that.
But Prime Minister, you keep asking for changes to the withdrawal agreement, the divorce deal. The European Union very firmly keeps saying no. Now, Donald Tusk said some of your colleagues should be sent to hell in the end yesterday. Aren't you stuck in some kind of purgatory?
No, first of all, I've raised with President Tusk the language that he used yesterday, which was not helpful and caused widespread dismay in the United Kingdom. And the point I made to him is that we should both be working to ensure that we can deliver a close relationship between the United Kingdom and the European Union in the future, and that's what he should be focusing on.
But why do you believe that in the end they may change their minds? Because everything that comes out of European leaders' mouths here says they will not change that part of the agreement, the divorce deal.
Well, I've set out very clearly the position from Parliament that we must have legally binding changes to the withdrawal agreement in order to deal with Parliament's concerns over the backstop. What I see and hear from leaders is a desire for us to work together to ensure that we can deliver the UK leaving the European Union with a deal. My work is to deliver Brexit, to deliver it on time, and I'm going to be negotiating hard in the coming days to do just that. Thank you.
Prime Minister Theresa May after her closed-door meeting with top EU officials. Business and retailers at the famous Serekunda Market have urged the government of the Gambia to see ways of intensifying the security, as the market is now faced with burglary and armed robbers who come after closing hours to break into shops. Our reporter Sajo Sambu visited the market today and files in this report.
Businesses and traders at the famous Serekunda market have urged the government of the Gambia to see ways of intensifying the security, as the market is now faced with burglary and armed robbers who came after closing hours to break into the shops. The market, which was erected over a decade ago, serves as a place of hope of survival for many, accommodating thousands of nationalities from sub-Saharan Africa. But recently, insecurity has been a great concern for businessmen and women. Abdullah Inget, a mobile phone dealer and a shop owner at the Serekunda market, whose shop was once broken by thieves, said business at this time is at slow pace, affecting not only the Gambia, but the continent at large. He added that the rate of stealing is at an alarming rate, demanding more security.
Business here, we are here trying to manage with the manageable ones. You know, though business is hard in the Gambia, not only in the Gambia, in the whole of Africa, but despite with all that, we are here trying to manage with the manageable ones. Though we do face difficulties, but you know, we just take our challenges and do what is expected of us. Yeah, well, that is true. But break and entering, it doesn't only stop in the market here. It's nationwide. Everywhere you are hearing break and enter, break and enter. But though the securities are here, they are trying their level, but still now, if we can have more security here, so that things will be more effective here, so that the break and entering will be reduced. Well, I know they know more than I do. We all know that security level is not only in the market side. Security level should be everywhere in the whole nation. It's supposed not to stop only in the market here. It should be everywhere in the nation, because people are afraid now. Even if you check in the market area here, most of the time, if you see people when going home, you would think that they are refugees or whatsoever. Because when they are going, you carry your bag, you put all your stuff there. When going home, you take it. When coming back, you bring it back again. All that because of you are afraid. You leave your stuff here, they steal it.
Aliou Kamara, a mobile dealer and a repairer, gives similar sentiments of security concern, but disagrees with the general public notion of all people at the black market are criminal. For him, the market is occupied by responsible citizens who are willing to work to make a living for their families.
No, man, lolu mënuma ko gëm, because fii ñu fi nekk man ñu ma xam liggéey rek moo leen tax a jóg. te ñu ngi am ay responsabilités yoo xam ne si biir kër yi yoo xam ne ñuy liggéey si office sax amuñ ko dañoo liggéey am seen xaalis bu set yóbbu ko seen kër yi toppatoo seen njaboot so suñu waxee ne fii black market bi lu tilim rek moo fi doo man duma ko mën a d'accord de ba ñu wane sàcc yi dañ fi dee ñëw de waaye liggéeykat yi am fi ñoo xam ne amuñ bitik te Gambian lañ dañ dee ñëw fii rek raba luñ mën a liggéey lu set ñu yóbbu ko seen njaboot yi suñu amoon ay bitik duñ fi ñëw am na ñoo xam ne moom digga suñu amoon ay bitik duñ fi ñëw.
Mohamed Jawne, another businessman, said thousands of the citizens' livelihood is based on the market. Thieves and pickpocketers have made it difficult to live in the market. He said the market is not secured and people in the market are not secure.
In yapin kankan bebe kerenteng do ku soto balialum anim business wala kolea wala munyi manto robet. Yo barintel surata na baluo membi jang yen sigorti bos ndere galansino jole kayto kayte ni anyin ka jang ka jole jiare en ka jole nga bidiko jole yo barin na baluo na business o aman security intel fama security o mona problème olete berin benzuda fo banko president bos banko fangono to nya memma hana mangi marso kono ti jang nga kola ko so do sate kono bak sungol nim fan katamol attaque inen ki dole kata mol attaque inen terran kata mol attaque o munna ko la ko wala dañu banko kan jambi ha so fo benzuda ani president benzuda umar solati jang president o mo sate ko not banko lati.
Last month, businessmen and women went on strike at the mayor's office in Kanifing to lodge on their complaints that their conditions at the market be improved and security be intensified. According to the market occupants, promises were made by the mayor Ahmed Bensouda to address the situation, and since then all the hidden cameras have been installed and no security reinforcement. For Africa TV News, I am Sajo Sambu.
That was Sajo Sambu there at the Black Market building, talking to some vendors and shop owners and some dealers as well with regards to security matters. Palestinian ambassador to UN Riyad Mansour told reporters that it doesn't make sense for the Security Council to remain silent on Israel's decision to end an international observer force in the West Bank city of Hebron. Speaking after consultations meeting, Ambassador Mansour said the Security Council is failing in its responsibility in ensuring international peace and security and protection of civilians is guaranteed. Mansour was joined by the ambassadors of Indonesia and Kuwait, which are non-permanent members of the Council, and took part in the consultations. The temporary international presence in Hebron is a civilian observer mission present in the city of Hebron upon invitation by the government of Israel and the Palestinian Authority. TIPH has existed in the present form since 1997, and the observers come from TIPH's 5 contributing countries: Italy, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and Turkey. The settlement of Sinchu Alaji East in the West Coast region was known as the ghost town and inaccessible for over a decade due to the horrible road conditions linking them to the coastal road and the nearby hospital in Banjulanding, coupled with the lack of potable drinking water. Well, that seems to be a history with the intervention of Vision Development Foundation, VDF, that came to their aid to fund the 1.8-kilometer road and a water project. Asaja Sambu has more on that.
The settlement of Sinchu Alaji East in the West Coast region was known as a ghost town and inaccessible for a decade due to the horrible bad road conditions linking them to the coastal road and the nearby hospital Banjulanding Health Center, coupled with the lack of potable drinking water. That now seems to be a history with the intervention of Vision Development Foundation, VDF, a non-profitable and non-governmental organization who came to their aid to fund the 1.8-kilometer drain battered road from the coastal road Elton Johnson to the Banjulanding Hospital, and a 1,300 meters water pipe before erecting a 3,000 liters container tank to serve the community with clean drinking water to restore life in once a deserted settlement. Speaking at the ceremony, the village Alkalo Alhaji Salih Fusise described VDF CEO Modu Turo Dabo as a patriotic citizen who have dedicated his life and wealth to help the needy.
Hamon genne yon bi duñ ko don jaar ci ay at gannaaw ku fi ñew in 2013 2012 xam nga ne amuloo woon pexe ba nga jaar ci yoon bi ak oto lu dul noor nawet bu jotee sax doo fa mun a door jaar sareet wala tànka ngir lan yëpp dafa nekkoon benn taataa rek bu jàppalante moo daan 1,800 meters te yàlla seede na ne yéen ñu nga xam ne xamoon ngeen lu ma wax demba noonu la meloon.
The Ward Councillor Fatou Jallow said if only Gambians can emulate the philanthropy through Dabo, the issue of poverty and a nightmare of poor road and the lack of access to clean water will soon be a history in the country.
nit ku mel ni Touro Dabo ñu jàppale ko Gambia ni ñu bari dañ wara jël si Touro Dabo ñu jël food stepam because moom su moo liggéey projet am bi hoolut politics Touro Dabo hoolut ne groupe bi UDP la groupe bi APRC la groupe bi GDC la moom lu ko ñor mooy développement ni Gambia bi.
An old friend of the CEO and a resident of Sinchu, Alaji Bunsani, praised Touro for coming to their aid, reminding him to continue the legacy of his father, who was also known for his gesture. You came when we were in desperate need to rescue us from the bondage of traveling kilometers on donkey carts to fetch water, he ended.
Alake harje damen to febe hadama dingol makoy alma aleo bambandi ay harje frim fofaw kadi yemengo men soto ngamira 75% be ka samba hadama dingol e molu torata jang kata bo hololto ka joroche na musol ka wilbaro leta ani sareta ani puspuso la bamtela dino fa ka bori so kono fa mukeje.
The gallant philanthropist and CEO of VDF Modu Turo Dabo said for the past decade is sponsoring over 378 students both in the secondary and the university.
I'll come for politician will call promise. We are not a politicians. For past 20-something years, in Dollar Development Bakang, we don't need nothing from you people, only thank you very much. Sanji Tang, Sanji Muang Komando, Boholo Sinta Dauda, I call him Modu Turo. Silo de data daoda iko modu turo. Kurango dunta daoda iko modu turo. Sponsorship for the students, we have 378 students, both university, high school. Obe iko modu turo.
He then headed to cut the ribbon marking the official opening of the road labeled Modu Turo Davos Highway. The day ended with a joyful moments as different cultural groups take in turn to entertain the crowd. For Africa TV News, Sajo Sambu.
Coming up after the break, Africa hosts 37% of the 19.6 million world refugee population. Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, told the African Union. Over electoral rigging rocks Zimbabwe as the country.
Yesterday, after listening to Prime Minister May's assessment of the state of the negotiations,
why it is our diocesan patron feast day is because the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption is dedicated.
Do not have it in their mindset or in their psyche that we are playing against Algeria.
Welcome back, viewers. You're being reminded that you're watching the World Today Afternoon Bulletin. Let's take a look at the remaining stories. Africa is hosting 37% of the 19.6 million world refugee population, with Africa and Asia together have 97% of the world refugee population and 1/3 of the world internally displaced population. That was revealed by Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa at the 34th Ordinary Session of the Executive Council of the African Union. She raised the question on how the African Union can create the continent it wants to be. The Africa that would raise its voice to address the factors making its youth flee to other continents. Al-Hassan Sise gives us more on that.
Millions of individuals have been forcibly displaced worldwide as a result of persecution, conflict, violence, or human rights violation, with Africa hosting 37% of the 19.6 million world refugee population. Africa and Asia together has 97% of the world refugee population and 1/3 of the world internally displaced population. That was revealed by Vera Songwe, the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa at the 34th Ordinary Session of the Executive Council of the African Union. She added that Africa has the second highest burden of displacement in the first 6 months of 2018. 2 million new people were displaced mainly from 5 countries, namely Central African Republic, Nigeria, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Somalia. Continuing, she emphasized that women always suffer most, with the female refugee was 57% in 2017. She raised the question, as a union, how does it create the Africa it wants, the Africa that will raise its voice to address the factors making its youth flee to other continents. She added Africa is wasting huge amounts on camps which could have been used in other relevant areas. She stressed the internally displaced people in the African continent should have an identity and should be engaged to be able to contribute productively in the economic activities of the continent.
In the first 6 months of 2018, only 2 million new people were displaced, mainly from 5 countries: Central African Republic, Nigeria, South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Somalia. Women are often the hardest hit. The female population of refugees is about 57% in 2017. Africa has the second highest burden of displacement, hosting about 37% of the world's 19.6 million refugees. Together, Asia and Africa host 97% of the world refugee population and 3/4 of the world's internally displaced population. As a union, it is a moral question. How do we create the Africa we want if without shame or humiliation we let our youth, our young women, lament in camps? How do we as a union raise our voices with indignation about the treatment of our youth as they flee the continent and are rejected on foreign shores, if without conscience or creed we deprive them of peaceful residence in our own countries? Today in our union, we have a 14.7 million in election or a political decision. Today, children suffer disproportionately from internal displacement. They don't go to school in our communities. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees estimates show that if we are to put the numbers into perspective, 22 million refugees represents twice the population of Tunisia. It is close to the population of Ivory Coast. The GDP of Tunisia today is $40 billion. Twice that, $80 billion. The GDP of Ivory Coast, $40 billion. If we look at our productive societies, the GDP of Mauritius, $12 billion, 1.2 million people. You do the math, $80 billion. We cannot afford to let $80 billion of Africa's economy go to waste in camps. That is the challenge before us as we take on the issue of internally displaced people and refugees on our continent. The benefits of the CFTA must benefit these people too. They must have an identity and they must be able to engage. These excellencies are the economic cost of the foregone education of Zainab, who could have been a leader, who could have made our society richer, but today is making our society poorer. And Africa, in search of growth, cannot afford the luxury of camps of unproductivity. And Africa, needing to embrace the fourth industrial revolution, cannot keep its kids out of school.
Reporting for iAfrica TV, I am Alhassan Sise.
Tunisian high school teachers have taken to the streets of the capital to demand wage increases and improvements to what they call dire working conditions. Thousands of protesters from across the country marched in Tunis, starting at the Education Ministry and finishing at the city's main entry, Avenue Bourguiba. Lassad Yaqoubi, a teachers' union official, told the crowds there are 500 schools without water or toilets and the roofs of many classrooms are dilapidated. Henda Ben Jamil, a teacher, wore a sign showing a schoolyard in Kaznadar near Tunis that is taken over by garbage. Tensions between teachers' unions and the government, which believes their wage demands are too high, have been affecting high school education in North African nation for months. Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai and Taliban official Sheikh Mohammed Abbas Tanzikar have called on the United States of America to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan in the quest of finding final solution to the crisis. That was the resolution reached after the intra-Afghan talks in the Moscow that brought together prominent Afghan figures, but no Afghan government officials were in attendance. The Moscow-based Council of Afghan Society, an organization of the Afghan diaspora in Russia, said in a statement that it was the organizer of the meeting. Here is an insight on the outcome of the talks.
Afghans to come up with a solution. It was very important.
So, was there any agreement on when the foreign forces should leave?
There were statements in principle. You read the statement that will be issued to you today. It was read already. Matters are pretty clear. No timeline.
No timeline.
We have finished our today's meeting here in Moscow. It was very successful and we agreed on many points. American armies, we are in negotiation with the American side and we are trying that the American forces should go out as soon as it is possible.
When?
What's the timeline? Time is not fixed so far and it's not agreed upon, but we are negotiating this.
You look at the statement, it's very, very clear as to what we have agreed upon.
And could we ask Mr. Stanker, what's his desire for the timeline?
It's not decided so far.
But what would you like?
This will be discussed on negotiation. We will see their desire as well as ours, and then we'll decide.
In coming months or weeks?
I cannot say now. It's early to say.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on the world today on iAfrica TV. For more on these and other stories, log on to our website, iAfrica.tv. I am Fatmata Jaju. Bye for now. Please stay tuned for our upcoming programs.
We pray for brighter days. Love we embrace. We pray for better days. We pray for brighter days. Why these students get expelled? Why is so much youth dead in a jail? Why the country turn into hell? Politician guess them might see nothing well. Little juvenile in a murderer them dwell. Too much crime, but what happened to the government? No response. The truth they want come bury. Tribalism not necessary. Because to let something and they die either are the legendary. We pray for a better day. We pray for a better day. We pray for a better day. Alright then. What you know? They thought that we a bunch of losers, fighting at them offices and private crookers. Them never know that we are Martin Luthers. Burn them technologies and them computers. We learn from the holy book, we have so much future. So no dirty politicians will confuse us. Crime and violence too contagious. Protect the soil, not for them and children. We pray for a better day. 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 Why these students get expelled? Why is so much youth dead in a jail? Why the country turn into hell? Politician guess them might see nothing well. Little juvenile in a murderer them dwell. Too much crime, but what happened to the government? No response. The truth they want come bury. Tribalism not necessary. Because to let something and they die either are the legendary. We pray for a better day. We pray for a better day. We pray for a better day.